I'd like to see him whirl away for an extended period. He should recognise what he has in terms of an asset in his young left-arm spinner here. He's in the team ahead of Simranjeet Singh, who will end up not getting the game on this tour, just like Tanish Sori. So unfortunate for those two to miss out. Mohamed Mohsen as well. 3 players of the 15 not getting any game time. But he is capable of bowling 10 on the bounce. And just starting to create some scoreboard pressure. You see the required run rate for the first time, Mel, up at a run a ball now.
Yeah, and that's significant as well. And 4 dots to start off his spell with. You couldn't ask for much more. I guess it must be difficult as well, as we see Khan complete a maiden over first up. It's a great effort, keeps the pressure on Canada. 12 gone, they are 53 for 4, albeit if Curtin doesn't come back, they're effectively 53 for 5. Just the impact on the batters for Canada in having seen not only a collapse, but also it'd been quite distressing for them seeing a teammate having to be stretched off.
Yeah, and if you are just joining us and wondering what we're talking about, we can't give you an official update, but we are not certain that Curtin will return. He's retired hurt, not out, as it says on that graphic there. As Johnson's going to work this away just for one. We will try to get you an update maybe at the drinks break about the status of Nicholas Curtin. We also saw a real moment of controversy, didn't we? And I think this one will probably end up online and actually ended up being used by the umpires' coaches with regards to that catch by Rahul Chopra of the debutant, who could have possibly been well served by staying a little longer at the crease.
Oh, Chawadula, he continues to probe away. That slightly unorthodox action of his, it really is fun to watch. Yeah, that catch you were talking about, the question being whether or not the catch ball and then throw it away in celebration before falling to the ground and doing a tumble and coming to his feet. And I think you're right, Lenny. I think we'll see that again, as that one is just played late and guided down to deep third for another single.
And look, with huge respect to 2 very fine umpires out there, they get one look at it in a heartbeat.
Yes.
We're not in a situation that would have been referred.
Absolutely.
100% would have been referred at a World Cup or a full member v full member level where they have the TV umpire in place. And in that instance, with multiple looks at it, in my opinion, the TV umpire would have said not out. And I think I'm right in what I'm saying there, purely because of the education we received from Bruce Oxenford.
Oh my goodness gracious me. That is a mighty swat from Aaron Johnson, who has been playing within himself for a little while after that tumble of wickets, but he's certainly not right now.
He's a giant of a man, and the ball striking that he possesses, the crispness of it is as good as we have in the associate game. And I mean, like, that's a big statement when you've got George Munsey and Andreas Kaus and Kushal Bertel going around the traps, and I'm forgetting another 30 on top of that. So, you know, he can make any boundary look small. And whilst, yes, the odds are heavily favouring the UAE in the virtual position of 61 for 5, I will stand on my sword with one thing here, Mel. If Aaron Johnson is not out in this innings, I think Canada will win. And the others might not need to do that much. They just need to be there. Because if he bats 50 overs and he can just, at the flick of a switch, just like that shot,
Yeah.
just start smashing boundaries. He's great to watch.
When you talk about as the over finishes, 8 runs coming from it. Hey, Khan, who started off with a maiden over on, just looking to back this up now. He's bowled very nicely early on.
Yeah, and I talked about that concept of Ian Khan being allowed just to wheel away for a full set of 10 overs here. It would be so good for his confidence levels returning to international cricket. Not that he actually lacks for confidence, the young man. He's hugely charismatic and always with a smile on his face and loves his cricket.
Well, what could be interesting is if he ends up bowling to Johnson, which
He needed to get it to straighten a touch more, but the smile from Ryan Milne is saying he didn't, and it was just going to angle down. So it's pitch what, about middle and off, and yeah, just needed to straighten a touch more. And that then would have hit the leg stump, but I think that's a good decision.
yeah, that was the first instinct. But he's been able to get into his spell by bowling at Anj Patel the whole time. He hasn't had to bat a bowl to Johnson, and I think that's
Anj Patel is not a tall man. He really isn't.
Didn't think height was the issue. I just, my initial thought was that it was angling down. That's another maiden over. Yeah, that was the first instinct. But he's been able to get into his spell by bowling at Anj Patel the whole time. He hasn't had to bat a bowl to Johnson, and I think that's
Anj Patel is not a tall man. He really isn't.
Didn't think height was the issue. I just, my initial thought was that it was angling down. 2 maidens to start. That's another maiden over.
The problem is, Mel,
the first instinct.
But made a big statement.
He's been able to
Johnson's
get into his spell by
bowling 50 overs, but
सोमबार नेपाल क्रिकेट संघ क्यानले एसीसी प्रिमियर कपका लागि राष्ट्रिय क्रिकेट टोली र टप एन्ड टी20 सिरिजका लागि नेपाल ए टोली घोषणा गर्यो। निकै नै सङ्घर्ष गरिरहेको राष्ट्रिय एक दिवसीय टोलीको नेतृत्व परिवर्तन गरिएको छ। अहिलेका लागि राष्ट्रिय टिममा रोहित पौडेल कुनै पनि प्रारूपमा कप्तानको भूमिका थिए भने सोमबारदेखि एक दिवसीय जिम्मेवारीबाट पनि उनलाई अलग गरिएको छ। रोहितको ठाउँमा एक दिवसीय राष्ट्रिय टोलीको नेतृत्व सन्दीप लामिछानेले गर्नेछ। यसअगाडि पनि लामिछानेले राष्ट्रिय टोलीको नेतृत्व गरिसकेका छन्। वाइड बल क्रिकेटको दुवै फर्मेटमा नेटवर्क हेरफेर गरिएको छ। एसीसी प्रिमियर कप जस्तो महत्त्वपूर्ण प्रतियोगिता अघि गरिएको यो हेरफेरले नेपाली क्रिकेटमा कस्तो असर पर्छ, कप्तानको रूपमा सन्दीपको खाँदमा कस्तो जिम्मेवारी आइपुगेको छ, रोहितको कार्यकाल कस्तो रह्यो लगायतका विषयमा जान्ने प्रयास गरौँ।
सुरुमा सोमबार नेपाल क्रिकेट संघ क्यानले गरेको एक दिवसीय टोलीको नेतृत्व परिवर्तन र टिममा गरिएको खेलाडीहरू परिवर्तनका बारे चर्चा गरौँ। क्यानले एक दिवसीय टोलीको कप्तानको जिम्मेवारी सन्दीप लामिछानेलाई दिएको छ। पहिले पनि राष्ट्रिय टिमको नेतृत्व गरिसकेका लामिछाने रोहित पौडेलको ठाउँमा कप्तानको जिम्मेवारीमा पुनः फर्किएका हुन्। एक दिवसीय टिमको
The new bowler, Nath, he's got probably a decent hand on it. I think the reverse angle replay, if we can somehow get that, should give us a good cider of it. And it kind of sums up Canada's day. It's stumbling from one catastrophe to another. Feel for Ansh Patel here. Yeah, the reverse angle is going to tell us everything here. Thudded by Johnson. A decent enough hand. It's probably come off the thumb, actually, isn't it? And an easy decision for David McLean. He was trying to get out of the way himself. Not a lot you can do there.
There's not a lot, and there's. I mean, it's just one of those days for Canada, isn't it? Everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
सन्दीप जोराको नेपाली टोलीमा पुनरागमन भएको छ। यो टोलीले प्रिमियर कपको समूह चरणमा साउदी अरेबिया र हङकङको सामना गर्नेछ। उता अस्ट्रेलियाको डार्विनमा हुने
driven so firmly by Johnson.
15 सदस्यीय नेपाल
The captain has come to the crease since Saad bin Zafar.
नेपाल एमा राष्ट्रिय टोलीबाट हटाइएका कुशल भुर्तेललाई समेत समावेश गरिएको छ। यो टोलीमा कप्तान अनिल शाह, कुशल भुर्तेल सहित पृथ्वीराज दास, मयन यादव
Game in that one format has never really got close to mastering ODI cricket. Career high of 65, averaging 22. But to think of his first 10 innings, I remember vividly because I'm pretty sure the series. But I remember getting on to Nick Skinner, who's part of the emerging cricket collective, and coming from heading up to Toronto. There's a good Caribbean community there in the GTA. There really is. So yeah, his personal journey, I still think he has a potential that we haven't actually even seen yet, even including that 50 on the.
And it's been another very, very eventful over. Wicket falling first ball. Ansh Patel run out at the non-striker's end. And Canada now 62 for 5 after 15, with the caveat in there as well that they also have Nicholas Curtin, who was taken from the field after suffering an injury, retired hurt. And we're still trying to find out if he is definitely not going to return, but certainly the indications from the way he left the field suggest, I mean, he just hasn't looked troubled out there.
नेपालको संविधानको धारा 94 मान्य सदस्यहरू अब प्रतिनिधि सभाको अर्को बैठक मिति 2083 भदौ 1 गते सोमबार दिनको 1 बजे बस्ने गरी यो बैठक यहीँ स्थगित हुन्छ।
In such a strange brings up the 50, and what an entertaining 50 it's been. Understated celebration there from Johnson, because he's got so much to do if Canada are going to have any chance. But what a display of ball striking we've seen so far.
Phenomenal. And look, the matchup, with due respect to Akshdeep Nath here, of Nath to Johnson is a nonsense for me. Like, how you can think, if you're the UAE here, that this is going to work. And look, I could be proven wrong next ball, but this is kind of men against boys stuff in terms of, like, this is a 60